Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Coffee Rant with Dano and Frank, the Patriot Bald Eagle. Tonight we're going to be talking about 10 items that we should be adding to our stockpile now in case, for one, if we have any issues, right? All of these products that I'm going to talk about tonight are items that we have had issues with, whether price increases, whether shortages. A lot of our viewers who have commented on some of these over the last few weeks. We're going to discuss all of these tonight, and these are going to be items, especially for fall of 2024, that I think we should all be stocking up on if you haven't already. Okay, we're just going to get right into it here. So number one, canned meats. Now I've included chicken, beef, and tuna, all in part because not that we've seen any shortages on it, but we're expecting prices to go up on these items. Now, over the last entire summer of 2024, we've seen beef prices go through the roof. Okay, we have seen canned tuna products go up in price. It's rare we can find the 4-packs anymore for $4. They're a little over that. We're expecting these to go up again, too. Now, we've seen things like canned chicken go up. We've seen like canned salmon go up. And some of these products, you may just want to stock up on. They're good long shelf life items that are always good to add to your pantry. Now we have seen where like Swanson chunk chicken breast has gone up like crazy. Some stores way more than others. The cheapest that I've seen at regular price has been Walmart. I believe it's $3.98 a can for the 12.5 ounce can. Now the great value is significantly cheaper, okay, and arguably just as good, okay. And those have actually come down a little bit in price, where they're under $9 for a 4-pack now, $5 for a 2-pack. Right? But all of these things, I think, these are items that are always commented on the channel. Keystone meats, even great value canned meats and stuff like that. We are expecting that these may be going up in the future. Good to get them now to save yourself maybe a little bit of money. And if ever there's a shortage of these products, you're going to have it. I know a lot of our viewers use Keystone meats, and rightfully so. It's a decent price for what you get. Okay, number two was an issue that we had last year, and there's been ongoing issues with it over the last couple years. I just put them both in the same category, salt and sugar. Now, I haven't noticed anything lately. I haven't seen any shortages of sugar, no shortages of salt, at least here in the Cincinnati area. Okay, now, any of these items that we go over that you've noticed any increase in price or shortages at your store, make sure you let us know down in the comments, and let us know, abbreviate your city and state so we can kind of pin where it's coming from. That way, if it's spreading, right? If the issue is spreading, then we'll be able to kind of counter that by saying, okay, well, maybe we can get it south here or something. And then, if you have to. We have stocked up on some salt and sugar because of what we ran into last year. Right? We couldn't find any salt for like a month, well over a month. We couldn't find any salt. Luckily, we had some because we stock up on the sales as we see them, guys. We were always getting these different deals and stocking up as we go along, and we encourage you to do the same thing within the means of what you can afford. So I put on here, yes, salt and sugar was the problem this time last year. Sugar was definitely an issue. We saw where Walmart wasn't getting any sugar in, and it wasn't just here in Cincinnati. If you remember, I traveled through Kentucky and some other places, and they were having issues with sugar as well. Sure enough, when we see things disappear like that, what happens? Comes back at a higher price. We saw where Walmart had raised their price on sugar twice last year, from $7.68 for a 10-pound bag to $8.17 for a 10-pound bag. And mind you, it was only September of last year that it was $7.28. So that is almost $1 within a year that has gone up in price. Okay, number three, spices. Spices are always an issue, and they continue to go up in price. Okay, a lot of spices like McCormick. Some other ones have gone up in price lately. That's why we've been trying to kind of showcase them lately. If you haven't seen our video at Ollie's Bargain Outlet, pretty decent deals on spices, but a few of you had mentioned too that prices have definitely gone up at Ollie's on those, and it's probably because of the price that they're paying for them as well. Now, we've seen places like Walmart where they've just given up on some of their extra spices that they used to get. Now, if you notice, most Walmarts are purchasing a lot more different spices like McCormick and stuff like that. And that's all well and good. But you'll notice that the McCormick prices at Walmart are about the same as they are everywhere else. They're just getting it because they're filling in the shelves. Filling in the shelves. Also, a viewer of ours had mentioned something, and she had said that, if there's a supply chain disruption, okay, spices can be hard to come by. Most of our spices come from outside the U.S. Most of our spices come from outside the U.S., like from India, some other places, and she mentioned that, and thank you for mentioning that, because if there is a supply chain disruption, where there have been before with different things, and that's part of what has caused some of the spices not to come in. A lot of the different, like, if you notice, if you go to Walmart, every Walmart I go to, most of the great value spices, the cheaper ones, they have like a whole section full of one or two different. You'll have like onion salt, right? Or not even onion salt, like garlic powder and onion powder. Like there'll be like a whole row of them. They're just not getting a lot in anymore. Or the thing with Walmart too is that if it costs too much, Walmart ain't going to sell it. If they know you're not going to buy it, they're not going to bring it in. They know McCormick is a good name. They know McCormick is a well-known name, and people will buy it, especially when you're not finding any of the other spices at Walmart. So that's number 3. Number 4, so I put this one down here because a couple people have mentioned not being able to find like granola and oats and stuff like this. I haven't really seen an issue with that, but I wanted to mention that because over the last month or so, a couple people have mentioned granola. I guess when I've pointed it out in the store, that you haven't been able to find a lot of different granola and stuff. One of them was when I went to Aldi and I was pointing out some different granola. And this is one that, you just may want to think about, right? People are talking about it. If there's issues getting different granola, if you use oats for a lot of different things, might be a good idea to stock up on some of these. And it could be an issue where it's going away and coming back at a higher price. So that is why it made number 4. And I even wrote that on here. It's usually means that it's going to be going up in price. We've seen where oats and stuff have gone up. They haven't gone up for about a year. Okay. But we know where Aldi had raised theirs initially from $2.49. Now they're $3.95 here a year and a half later. I mean, it's almost 2 years, but yeah, I mean, they're getting up there. Store brands are right around $4. Usually you can find Quaker, the 42-ounce canisters in the store for right around 5 to 6, sometimes a little higher depending on where you shop. Okay, number 5 is the big one. Coffee, guys. Coffee. Gotta have coffee. Well, I guess you don't have to, but if you want to get it for a decent price and not have it get ripped from underneath you with shrinkflation, you may want to start stocking up on some coffee as we continue to either see price increases or shrinkflation, which is kind of the same thing, right? Because either you're raising the price or you're taking some out of it, right? And it's like you're paying the same price, but you're getting less. So it's kind of the same thing. We've seen recently where Maxwell House has shrinkflated. Price increases will be next on Maxwell House. That's how this works. We see things shrinkflate, and then they give it about a month or two, and then once people start figuring out that they're not getting as much as they used to, that's when they'll start to raise the price, right? It's usually about a month or two after we see the shrinkflation. Not guaranteed to happen, but probably will. We've seen where Folgers has raised their prices again on a lot of different of their canisters of coffee. And we've seen even cheaper brands, right? Like Green Mountain. We've seen where they've shrinkflated. They've taken a couple pods out of their 12-pack. Now it's only 10. They've been having some okay sales on it. Ones that you normally wouldn't find when they had 12, right? Like $3.99 or, well, $4.99. They used to have those sales on those. That does include, like, I guess McCafe, Original Donut Shop, and Green Mountain are kind of all the same company now. I guess Green Mountain owns McCafe coffee, at least the ones that are produced. I don't know, but they're always in the same cycle of things, so something to keep in mind. And guys, like I always say, when you find sales on these items, pick them up. Pick them up. Even if you have extra already, it's a good idea because chances are, if you have it now, you're paying less later, right? And eventually you're going to have to pay the higher prices. Well, why not try and save now and save on that, and then maybe that'll get you through to the next sale, right? Okay, number 6. Canned vegetables and soups. I kind of put this in the same category because I think it's a good time of year as we notice, like, now's the time where we start seeing soups go up in price. We've actually seen them come down. We've seen them come down in a lot of places. Matter of fact, spoiler alert, I went to Walmart today. The regular prices of canned Progresso and canned Chunky by Campbell's were $1.98. $1.98. So they've dropped like 30-40 cents a can, which was already a decent regular price at Walmart, but they have dropped. Let's take advantage of these. And that's kind of why I'm mentioning it. Let's take advantage of these now so that if there is any upcoming shortages on canned vegetables, because usually the thing is, it's like we'll never really see it run out of Del Monte because Del Monte is so expensive, or some other brands. But like canned, we've seen where canned, like Great Value, Happy Harvest, all of these cheaper store brands, we've seen these get wiped out right around this time. It's another reason kind of why I threw this one in here. But there's great deals right now. Great deals on these. Stock up on them while you have a chance, right? Stock up on these cheaper items. Canned soup, it's a good meal. It's a good meal. If it all hits the fan or power goes out or something else, it's something you can just heat up and have a meal ready to go. Okay, next on the list, number 7 here, water. I feel like this is kind of a no-brainer. It's always good to stock up on water, but we've had multiple issues over the last couple of years with distilled water. Okay, a lot of our viewers that have talked about, over the years not being able to find distilled water, and I've noticed a lot of that has been right around this time of year. Surprisingly, around December as well is when we got a huge amount of comments, people talking about not being able to find distilled water. Okay, and I just think that while we're seeing it, while it's plentiful, this is a good idea. It's a good idea. Wow, I can't talk. To stock up on some of this while it's available. Okay, while it's available. Don't wait until it starts disappearing and then, because I've noticed with water, there's usually some different signs. Okay, you'll see a gallon's like missing. And we talk about the 2-week thing, right? Where you see it 1 week and it's like, well, it could just be waiting on the truck. If you see it the next week and it looks lower, that tells you there's an issue. Might not be, but that's usually the telltale sign that we get when it's like, oh, we better buy some because it's getting lower and lower. Kind of like toilet paper. I didn't even put toilet paper on this list, okay? That's going to be a bonus one. We'll talk about that here in a second. Okay, number 8 on the list. Oh, back to the water thing for a second. We're expecting items that are, we're expecting plastic to go up in price here soon. So keep that in mind, like things for pop, water. It's another reason why I mentioned this, because we've been hearing that plastic might be going up here soon. So another reason to kind of keep that. We've seen where things like pop and all these things have really skyrocketed in price over the last year or two. And I can only imagine them get more expensive. People, for one, I do feel like people are drinking less and less pop these days. I don't see as much missing as I'm used to seeing in the stores. Okay, number 8. Now, this was from our viewers over the last few weeks, even a month, but I'm just getting into it here. A lot of different cleaners, okay? Some people have been talking about shortages of bleach. We know this through Dollar Tree. One of our longtime viewers mentioned Dollar General, okay? But yeah, I've noticed where bleach can be wiped out at times. And another one of our viewers was saying they were having trouble finding Clorox, okay, which we had an issue with Clorox this time last year. There was an issue with the shipments, right? They weren't getting it in. It wasn't coming in. It was like all Clorox products, right? Remember we couldn't find the Hidden Valley Ranch. And I was like, what the heck? Come to find out, Clorox owned Hidden Valley Ranch. I mean, it was pretty crazy. I didn't know they owned a salad dressing. But they did. They actually bought out Hidden Valley Ranch years and years and years ago. But somebody, they were talking about sprays, different Clorox sprays, detergent, laundry detergent. This is going up in price. I've seen the cheaper laundry detergents are starting to go up in price. I've seen where Gain has gone up in price. Somebody mentioned the I think it was all laundry detergent is going up in price. That's funny. All laundry detergent. No, I think you were talking about the all brand laundry detergent. And we've seen them go up. We saw where Tide didn't make a price increase a few months ago, but we did see where they knocked some more out, shrinkflation. Tide seems to, instead of changing the prices, they seem like they just want to just keep taking more and more out of it. Eventually, there's going to be nothing in there. But yeah, I wanted to bring that up because it might be a good idea. There's been a lot of comments about cleaners. People leaving comments saying they're having trouble finding these. Bleach was a big one. I know few of our viewers had mentioned that. So good idea to kind of stock up on different cleaners if you haven't already. Okay, number 9. This is something that was a major thing last year, and we haven't gotten a lot of comments on it, but I wanted to bring it up. Over-the-counter medicines. Over-the-counter medicines, as we know, last year, and it's been an ongoing issue. Just a lot of medicines not coming in, specific brands, different things like this. We've seen where store brands have been hard to come in some areas. Haven't seen as much of an issue this year. Like I said, I wanted to mention this, though, because of the issues that we've had with it in the fall before. So really, this is just a reminder to make sure that when you see your over-the-counter medicine that you use, even if you have an extra one, it might be a good idea to add an extra pack or whatever to your preps, to your stockpile, because in case we run into that issue again, you'll know that you have an extra. And right there, before I go over number 10 here, I want to talk about toilet paper. I can't believe I didn't add this in here. Okay, so again, I was at Walmart today, and they had plenty of toilet paper, but it did look low. It looks significantly low. Okay, and I started thinking, I'm like, buy your toilet paper now, okay? Don't wait until something else happens and then race to the store and buy 50 things of toilet paper, okay? It's what we call smart shopping, smart buying, okay? You can call it whatever you want. You call it prepping. You can call it hoarding. You can call it all this. You don't want to have to race out to the store, okay? And I don't mean to put those two in the same category, but I call it smart buying, stocking up on deals when you find them. The slow burn, the slow buy. That way you're not wiping out the stores, right, when an event happens, but you're slowly bringing it in. You're slowly having it. That way, if there's an incident like with the hurricane or port strikes or these kind of things, you're not racing to the store or racing to Sam's Club and like, wow, there's no toilet paper here, right? So now's the time, okay? And Walmart could finally just start replenishing from what people were wiping them out of when the port strike happened. Luckily, that didn't last too long. But avoid that kind of craziness. Avoid having to rush to the store and get this stuff. Have a nice little stockpile, but you don't have to buy 50 of them at a time. You can go wait for the sales. Wait for the sales as they come. Get one, within your budget, right? Don't go overboard. There's no reason to do that. We never encourage panic buying on this channel for anything. That is why we're doing this video today, so that when you go to the store, you can slowly buy these things. You're not killing your budget, right? You're just going and getting a few things at a time. And then over time, these things add up and you have a nice little stockpile. So when there is a bad event, you're ready and you're not worried. I didn't know how long that port strike was going to last, but I felt comfortable. I was like, well, yeah, it's going to suck if this lasts 2 or 3 months, which I never expected it to last that long, but I did expect it to last 2 or 3 weeks, right? Which even that could have been devastating for the economy. The economy's in shambles anyway. And that would have just made it worse, right? But it's like, because of our way of shopping, because we stock up on the deals when we see them, because we add these things as we go along, the tortoise wins the race, right? Isn't that the saying? The tortoise wins the race, because we're slowly buying these things, not wiping things out or not taking it, and no judgment. And, if that's how you buy, you want to buy all the candy bars, okay, whatever. It's there. It's there for you. And, that's reasons why I always like pointing out, like the buy 5 or more, save $1 each deal at Kroger, which I do believe is over. But then Meijer has that going on right now, too. which it says buy 5, save 5, which is kind of misleading in a way because, now they put or more, right? So you can get to that fifth item or more. It's the same thing as Kroger, basically. Maybe not as good of deals, but it's kind of the same deal that Kroger has. Okay, it's just worded differently. But my point is that with these deals, there's no limits on them. A lot of these don't have limits, so you can buy 10, 15 cans of soup on that awesome price. You know what I'm saying? And if you got room to store it, well, these are things that have a long shelf life, long best of use by dates. Just make sure that you're checking on everything these days because of all these crazy recalls. It's like there's recalls on so many different things right now. It's crazy. But all this stuff, I have kind of looked and I haven't seen anything that we're talking about right now on recall. So as of October 15th, 2024, everything that we're talking about on here has not been on recall, but that's going to lead us up to this next one here, number 10, pet food. And we have gotten a couple comments where a couple of our viewers have had trouble finding pet food. Someone sent me an email talking about how they haven't been able to find pet food for a while and thanking us for mentioning Chewy. And I will say Chewy.com has helped out a lot of our viewers. Quick disclaimer, they are not paying me to say any of that or anything. I know some people were saying that. No, they're not. I'm not sponsored by Chewy or anything like that. They're a good company. A lot of our viewers use Chewy back in 2020, 2021, even 22 and beyond, right? They've gained so many customers because of not being able to find pet food. Now, last year wasn't as bad as it was the year before or the year before that, okay? But we did have issues with canned cat food. We saw where prices went up. The funny thing is that prices have come back down on it, okay? That's kind of why I'm mentioning it. Take advantage of it now. Take advantage of all the canned cat food and everything that has actually come down a little bit in price in some places. And we'll try to cover this as we go along. There really hasn't been too many comments of people not being able to find it, but as of recent, there have been a couple. So we're going to check it out. We're going to look, see what kind of deals we can find on pet food. But when you factor in some of the deals that Chewy offers, Chewy.com, it's the way to go, at least for a lot of our viewers on the channel here. Let's see. I put stock up while you can on the pet food and problems all the time. There's always problems with pet food. And speaking of recalls, there's none right now as far as I know, but there's pet food recalls every month or two also. So you got to pay attention to those as well. Everything we buy, guys, especially if we're buying for long term, something you want to throw in your pantry and forget about it. Yeah, we need to make sure we're paying attention. Save your receipts and stuff like that just in case. Because we've seen recalls on things come out 7, 8, 9 months, almost even a year. And then they talk about them. It's like, well, I guess, it's more for people like us that have bought it a year ago. Because chances are, if there's a recall on it that's been 7 or 8 months ago, you've probably eaten it already. I don't know, guys. It's a crazy world we live in. Crazy. And I mentioned that on here, recalls. But also, one of our viewers sent me another one of these books. Isn't that cool? Adventure is out there. I like it. And thank you very much. Yeah, guys, those are 10 items that we're always stocking up on, except for the pet food. We don't have any pets. But yeah, definitely the cleaning supplies come to mind too, because we do see issues with bleach sometimes at Dollar Tree. Haven't seen it too much besides the Clorox thing that happened about, I don't know, right around December of last year. So it's like, but Clorox, there was an issue with the shipping and all that stuff. There were some different issues with that. So, guys, I'll tell you what, just stock up on what you need to stock up on. Things that you're like, oh, okay, I got one of these. It's always good to have a little extra. And keep an eye out for the sales of these things so that when you find it, that's kind of a no-brainer for me. When I see something that me and Jessica use on an everyday basis or even a monthly basis or something, and I see a sale where it's half off, I buy it. Sometimes a couple of them because why not? I'm saving in the future, and who knows what the regular price is going to be the next time I go buy it, right? This is how we save money, guys. This is, when you really add up what you save by shopping like this in a year, just on food, okay? Forget cleaners, forget all this other stuff. Just on food, you'd be amazed how much you save if you shop this way. That's why we always talk about it like this, because it saves us a lot of money. A lot of our viewers literally write their grocery list to things that we cover in the stores. I think that is awesome. And hopefully it's not everything in word for word, but that is really cool. Oh, and on the over-the-counter medicines, prescription medicines as well. Make sure if you have the ability to get extra of your prescription medicines, I would. Not that there's an issue with that right now, but there has been where I know a lot of people who are diabetic on our channel. We have a lot of viewers that are diabetic that were having trouble getting their insulin and stuff like that. Don't know if that is still an ongoing problem, but I know it was in the past. Might want to think about that. We have other viewers that were having trouble getting their blood pressure medicine, that they had to wait like 30 days out, that you were still able to have that, but you don't like cutting it close like that. I completely understand. I like to have an oversupply. That way I know if something is wrong, or something happens, then you're able to have your medicine. But guys, just wanted to go over these 10 different items to add to your stockpile. And, whatever else you think is a good idea, make sure you let us know down in the comments. We do appreciate it. We appreciate all thoughts within everything. All thoughts and prayers continued with everyone still dealing with Helene and Hurricane Milton. It is still a mess. One of our family members actually just got power back like 2 days ago, and we thought they had power. But thank goodness they finally got their power back on. They had some friends and family help them out down there, which is awesome. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay prepped. Make sure you're stocking up on these things. Winter's coming. It's going to start getting cold. It was chilly today. It was 48 degrees out here right now. That's a lot different from 80 degrees from just about a week ago. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.